I don't know, 2 years ago England had so many right-backs, it wasn't true. Now the cupboard's a lot more bare, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, you're going to take a chance. Unfortunately, Reece has had that problems with injuries, and him coming, Thomas knows him. He thought that he might be able to make it. Unfortunately, he hasn't. But I think that with Jed Spence there and, you know, bringing Saka in now, he's had some rest. I think you've got to think of it more from the attacking point of view and what we're capable of doing. We're going to miss something of his set-piece delivery, but I think that, you know, we've got some cover for that. Absolutely. And Livramento, of course, had to go home before the World Cup had started. Patrick, from what you saw, do England need to mix things up in the wide areas tomorrow? Is there an argument, if they're fit, for Rashford and Saka to start tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it will be good to see Saka starting the game. If his kiddies allowed him to play more than 1 hour, why not? I think he needs the game times to really get fit. But of course, when he's in the starting 11, he brings something different, especially when you play against a deep block. He's got this ability to really go through the 1v1, and he can score goals. He can be a huge difference in the last 30 yards.
Yeah, you need your big players to turn up. People like Keane and Bellingham and players like Rashford who've done it before. That's why you'd be always tempted to bring Rashford back in, because, you know, he's done it before. You can kind of trust him. But there are decisions for the manager to have. He's got good options. And I always say he's got high-class problems, but he's got to try and get it right. But if England turn up and they bring their A game tomorrow, you'd fully expect them to win the game.
But based on the form that you've seen from the now Barcelona man, Gordon, do you think actually he's not done enough and that Rashford should get a game?
And my worry always with Gordon, I do like Rashford when he's at his best. And again, we go back to Gordon. Sometimes when the players get that starting position, they're not quite ready for it. They're kind of like being fringe players are coming on. But I think Rashford has a bit more presence about him, just maybe a bit more experience than Gordon, and that's why I'd maybe sway towards that.
I think when we watched the Costa Rica game, we're talking about a different level probably. Costa Rica didn't qualify, and you could see that what Tuchel wanted was a left side that can be as good as the right side when the way they're working, and it worked in that particular game. Probably why he started those two games, but in the last two games, he hasn't really shown up to the levels that you would have wanted him to. And you saw when Marcus came on, we know he wants to come back inside, but he's got that finish. He probably might start with Marcus and Saka tomorrow. Who knows? I don't think Madueke's done too badly.
No.
But like I probably feel like he's got to start with maybe his strongest team.
England don't have the options that France do they? So actually, whoever plays in those positions... Well, maybe nobody does, but whoever plays in those positions needs to be absolutely on it.
Yeah, of course. Again, that's what you're talking about, your top players turning. And if some of your better players aren't at it, where England could have been better there, again, you go back to basics, being really good at your set pieces, good delivery, people are tackling it, and they were just off on that side of it as well.
But there's, I believe, a lot of nations that will want to have the options that England have. We are talking about Gordon, Saka, Rashford, Madueke. We're talking about good players. And I think it's just about how... I don't think we should change our mind regarding those players with the team, because Ghana played really well. And I think Panama will be a different type of game for them. They have the talent.
Yes, that's certainly not a case of panicking, but sometimes you have to make one or two changes, freshen it up a little bit. But certainly would be panic from England's point of view, far from it.
But would you like to see, to finish with tomorrow, obviously England need to win the group. Is it important that they put in some sort of performance which everybody goes, OK, fine, that's what they're capable of? Or is it just about winning the game tomorrow?
I just think ideally you'd want them both. You know, you'd want them to play well, so it kind of boosts confidence as well. You want them to do well, you want them to be ruthless. At the end of the day, Poogs, if it does come into one of those where Panama, they're not going to come and be expansive. They're going to probably be deep block as well. If they can defend as well as Ghana do, then good luck to them. But at the same time, we've still got the players are capable of breaking them down, and that's what we should be going to do.
Well, England will be making changes for the game against Panama. They arrived in New Jersey late afternoon local time. Without Reece James, the Chelsea fullback has suffered another hamstring injury. It's a setback for him, it's a setback for Thomas Tuchel. Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson were both doubts, but both trained today, and Tuchel will make a final decision on their fitness tomorrow. It could mean a first start in midfield for Kobbie Mainoo at this World Cup, along potentially with Bukayo Saka and Marcus Rashford. Another low block awaits England's attack, which needs to find more invention against a Panama side a lot stronger than the one England thrashed at the World Cup 8 years ago.
So everyone except for Reece James is available and ready to go, and we will take the decision to.
And they're doing it against a team in Panama who are the only nation to not score a goal yet at the World Cup. So How should England reshuffle to cover the likes of Reece James and potentially more injuries?
Well, he's got options with Jed Spence, with Konza going to maybe right back, but he's got to play the most attacking option. And England are going to have dominate possession tomorrow in this match, or later on today in this match. He seemed to mention that it was complex quite a lot there, Thomas Tuchel, in his final press conference. And complex against Panama in terms of they keep ball possession, they press high, they defend deep with the low back. He said they almost made them out to be a sort of a team that could play a lot of different ways. And you can't take Panama for granted, but also we have got to remember we're one of the favourites for the tournament here, and we can't seem to be thinking that we're not capable of breaking down a team that defend deep. We've done that in all the qualification games when you play against lesser nations and against underdogs. So look, we've got fantastic players. They've just got to go out there and deliver tomorrow and not think about it too much.
Yeah, I think he's trying to point out that they're not the same team that was beaten 6-1, but then you can go to the other extreme. At the end of the day, as Gary said, England are favourites for this. And top spot's still up for grabs. It's not taken care of yet. And, you know, we've seen France tear teams apart that sit deep. And I think that's the expectation. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for sure, but I don't think there's anything there that, you know, England wouldn't have prepared for and be able to overcome.
Yeah. I was going to ask if Panama is going to sit back, what players do you think within the current English squad can break lines against an opponent like this?
I think in the wide areas, I think Saka will probably come in for Madueke. I think he's had a couple of games where he's able to sort of rest himself, and I think he's maybe a little bit more inventive in tight spaces. I think Madueke's okay as well, but Saka's fantastic at being able to dribble through people.
Rogers, maybe?
Pardon?
Rogers?
Yeah. I think I would play him on the left, Rogers. I would keep Jude Bellingham in there because I think we need presence in the box, particularly if we're going to be making some crosses and set pieces. I think that I would put Rogers on the left. I'm not sure Rashford and Gordon like it when you've got sort of 10 behind the ball and you're playing in sort of the last 10, 15 yards of the attacking zone. I do think they are better when you've got more space on the pitch. Not saying they can't play when there's a deep line defence. They've got to learn to do that, and Gordon's going to have to do that at Barcelona, by the way, because he's going to be playing against that nearly every single week. But I think Morgan Rogers is better, I think, in terms of just creating space. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you know, when you've got a squad of 26 and a nation like England, when you're clutching and taking a player out of position, I don't think that's the greatest place to kind of start things.
Eze then, maybe, because he has played to the left a little bit. I don't know.